Hello everybody, welcome to Ink Paper Play Live. I'm Joanne of Design with Jo, and I am here to show you some bite-sized ideas for your crafting toolkit. And today we are working with layering punches. A super simple concept, but I think sometimes we don't tend to do it. So let's get started really quickly. Please, if you are going to be watching us on YouTube, please leave a comment, and if it's on the replay, please do that as well. I love to see where people are, where they're watching from, and as well, also, I'd love to hear whether you like this idea, if you think you're going to try it, and I will share, what have I got, 5 different ideas at the end to show you some different variations on this. Okay, we're going to get started right away. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me fine. Let me just see. I had some problems last week, but I think I'm okay. So give me a thumbs up if that's working for you. Okay, we're going to get started. Here we go. I always turn that off just so you don't get to see my ceiling, but I should turn it before I do that, I guess. Okay, because you do get to see my ceiling, don't you? Here we go. If I can press the right button, then we'll go. Okay, now how many of you, this is a very, very small selection of the punches that I have. How many of you have a few punches at home? And if you do, how do you like to play with them? I'm just adjusting my camera just slightly here while I'm asking you that question. So be sure to put that into the comments. Thank you for those who are watching. I did figure out my sound. Okay, so you might have some of these types of punches. Hello, Donna. Hello, Marilyn and Maggie. Some of these are current, and that they are currently available to purchase from Stampin' Up. Some of them are actually old, retired. So if you have some of these old lever ones, these are several years old, there's nothing absolutely wrong with them. Absolutely nothing wrong with them. Hearts, stars, there's a bunch. There were big ones and small ones. So there are different sizes. A lot of them are this big size now, and you can see them here, same size. Some of them are a little smaller, and then some really come tiny, tiny. So what I want to show you is how you can layer these and some ideas you want to keep in mind when you're doing that. Okay, so let's just put these off to the side right now, and I love my circles. If you don't have any circle punches, my recommendation for you is that you do get yourself some. Carlos, you have a few, yes, and you do like to use them for sentiments. Perfect. We're going to do something else today just besides the punches. So I want to show you how often do we all purchase the paper for Valentine's or Easter or Halloween, and we love it and we use it, but then we have some left over. And know that they work almost as well, some of the other sides, where there is no Valentine's theme. So this guy here, yeah, Valentine's. This one here, quite possibly Valentine's, but you could probably use it for something else. So I want to encourage you to use your paper, because that's what we're going to be doing today, turning Valentine's paper into something else. So this is the Made with Love Designer Series paper, and we're going to be using this piece right here. So the other side of it, yeah, that's pretty much Valentine's, isn't it? But we're going to be using the diagonal stripes and some of the colors. So we're going to use the back to give us some inspiration today. We've got Bubble Bath, Flirty Flamingo, Poppy Parade, Real Red, and Strawberry Slush. So in this one here, I see the Flirty Flamingo and I see the Poppy Parade. So I'm going to pull out some of these colors, okay, and we are going to do some punches. Now you usually want to have words or an image on the front, so we are going to start with circles for that one. Now I do have lots of other ideas to show you, but I'm also going to show you something in just a second. So we're going to start with a 1.5 inch circle. Now it's up to you if you want to stamp first and punch second, but I like to punch first, stamp second, because then I know the exact size that I'm going to be stamping on. So I'm going to go for the 1.5 inch circle, and then I'm going to go for a 1 3/4 inch circle. And I think I'm going to go for the Fleur de Flamingo. Now, when I'm punching, and if you have a nice big sheet like this, think about where you're punching. You might be able to use this for something else. So I'm going to punch over here. I'm going to try and line it up here so that when I punch, I might be able to use that for something else a little bit later. So just something to think about when you are punching. Okay, now I have probably where my words are going to go. Or I could use that for some kind of design. The next thing I want to do is look at what shapes do I have. So I've got all kinds of different shapes here. Some of these, again, are ones that are no longer in our stash, but there's all different ones that you can use. And now I've hidden my circles. Let me find them again. And your circles, these are always full size. Your circles, maybe not so much on that one, but they're going to fit on these, right? They're going to fit on them. So I think what we're going to use the star, because I really like this star. I like that he's a little bit fatter. And this is called Sweetest Star, and we're going to punch that one out as well. Okay, so give me that one here. Make sure I have my piece of paper. Punch that out. I almost 100% of the time use my punch upside down because I can see exactly where I'm punching so that I'm not going to be wasting paper and getting a little edge that's cut off. So here we go. We are going to think about putting this, I think I'm going to go this way on this guy, and think about putting it there. Now, is that big enough? I'm thinking maybe that's not big enough. So now I'm going to go into maybe a bigger one. Let's see if I can get a different color. I'm going to go for white again. Hold on, because I don't think this is going to work. But, oh, is it just going to be big enough? Just. Lucky me. Just going to be big enough. Now, I could do that. Or I could layer something else inside of there, right? So the possibilities are endless. But the thing I want you to do when you're punching, and it's what I'm going to do if I decide I'm not going to use these items, is I'm going to keep a box just for my punched items. So let's take a look here. If I don't want that circle, if I want a white circle, how is that going to look? I think that's going to pop a lot better, isn't it? I could also go for a silver circle. This one here has a bit of, embossing on it. I think this circle is going to probably be too small. Yeah, so all you need to do is play. Let's see, what would black look like on here? Maybe black with a star, because it just adds a tiny little bit of interest in behind there. Might be an option. Or what else have we got in here? So this I started a little while ago. Let's say you had some rings. So let's say I had some rings. These are not going to work color-wise, but we could always add some rings. And everybody knows how to do a ring, right? Let's say you have some leaves in behind there. Oh, that might be sort of cool. Let's add a leaf. So all of these are different ways that you can stack. And then once you're happy with what you've got, you're going to go ahead and you're going to layer that onto your card. And that becomes your focal point. Now you can use other things as well. You can pull in some ribbon. So we've got some different ribbon here. If you want to give it a nice swash of ribbon, if you want to give it a bow, you can do that as well. Let me just stamp the words so that you can see what they look like. I'm using Poppy Parade for the happy, and the birthday is going to be Fleur de Flamingo. So let's just pull that. Now these are all, and stamp that again, ink that again rather. These are all punches. So none of these are dies. Oh, looks like I pressed just a tiny bit too hard. But you know what? We can fix that by sticking a dimensional over top of it. And I'm going to go happy up here. So then when we stick that on top, I don't know, we can leave that black in there. I think I might actually. So there we've taken some Valentine's paper and we've turned it into a birthday card. Okay, so think about your punches differently. Think about whatever you've got, all different ones, and just playing and seeing what you have. So I'm glad, Maggie, there you go. Yeah, keep your punches. So that's what you're going to notice with the cards that I have here. So this is another card using the paper. Happy birthday. So a really solid poppy parade there. I'm being careful not to move this one around too much. So there's somewhere where I put some ribbon in the background. And when you do that, you need a fairly large piece of ribbon. Here's something else I've done. Okay, so here we have some embossing, some dry embossing. And then I've layered 1, 2, 3, 4, because this is actually on vellum so that I could get my clear embossing powder on top of there. And these are 2 punches. And I don't know, you might have these ones in your stash, right? So it's just one on top of the other. There's vellum on top. There's another idea. Here's one using that star again. So I stamped right on top with my happy, and this time I layered it onto that sort of wobbly kind of circle, and then 2 other circles that are just got a little tiny bit of a border. And here's some stars, all out of stamps. This is out of a mini alphabet. That's a die. And then on the inside, layer them again. So I layered 3 more different punches here. So there's an idea, and if you want an idea for this one here, I don't have any goodies in it yet, but this was an idea, and on the front I did a Santa suit before. And this one here is really quite cute. So this one here has a wobble on it, but I stacked the same size, where is it here? This is, I've forgotten this name of this signpost, I think, or sign something. Punch, and I've layered it 3 times, 3 different colors here. Same 3 colors, but I gave just a very little bit of a border there. And then this is a builder punch. So if you have builder punches, they are perfect for layering. They're meant to be layered. So this is the body, the wings are right here, and then the antennas are on the little heart, all on vellum. So there's another idea, and I have one more. So if you happen to have, think also about maybe cutting out your punches. So this one here is this punch here, and it's called the 4-petal flower. It is a retired one. And so I've layered it here on colored vellum, but then I cut it out, I punched it again in the green vellum and cut it apart so that I could make leaves. So think about all of your punches working differently. Okay, think about how you can get the best use out of them and pull them out. Please, I bet you have them. I certainly have them. I've got way more than this, and I know they're heavy, but they serve way more than one purpose. So thanks very much for joining me. I hope that gives you a little bit of creative ideas to get started with, and I'll see you again next week. Thank you.